You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the list sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the court. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live, all 3 speakers go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcaster here with the Man Hour. Be sure to head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. It is live, it is raw, it is uncut sports talk here tonight. But we do got a discount code for you guys tonight. Discount code promo SUNSET saves you 10% off at manhourradio.com when you go to the merchandise page. The website is currently getting reamped, so hopefully by tomorrow it's looking nice, it's looking fresh, it's looking a little bit of mamma mia, right? But guys, we do got some great things lined up for tonight. Mr. Graham Wallace himself at Bus Wallace on the Twitter machine will be joining us here with his weekly NFL power rankings. So hashtag NFL power rankings for you guys that are all listening here at YouTube.com/Man Hour. If you not have done so already, guys, hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button along with the bell icon as we do upload clips each and every day here at Man Hour Nation right here on YouTube.com/Man Hour. If you're going to miss any part of the show whatsoever, we can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, and of course, iHeartRadio. But without further ado, it is time to get into arguably the biggest controversy that has been happening in the sports world since the Kansas City Chiefs lost the Super Bowl a couple years ago. No, like last year. But I digress on that. I want to speak on the whole Washington football scandal, the leaked emails, and all that stuff that has been happening. So basically, if you guys have not heard, Roger Goodell has kind of put the whole kibosh of releasing anything within the Washington football team organization. But attorneys for former Washington football employees basically said, you know what, this stuff needs to be out in the open. We need to release these findings. So the question that I'm going to propose to you in the football world, Alpha Rob, what's up, man? Big shout out to you. I want to ask you guys this question. How is it okay to leak, release, or whatever happened with the John Gruden emails? It was over like 20,000 emails dating back 10, 15 years, right? But yet they don't want to release anything else that is happening, and you know they found everything that they needed to find within like 24 hours. What in God's green gracious earth is going on over there in Washington? Roger Goodell in the NFL wants to sweep under the rug. We already know that Daniel Snyder does cocaine off of hookers' butts. He makes his cheerleaders pose naked for him, and he has parties with meth and marijuana and everything else like on cruise ships. What could be so bad right now that they do not want to release? So the attorneys for former employees, for the obviously the cheerleaders, and there are some like other secretaries, and to that effect, they basically say, hey, release what is out there. So we have, basically it seems like they want a leg to stand on, when they go out for these millions of dollars. So basically in a 2-page letter to Roger Goodell, Lisa Banks, and Deborah Kratz, stated that their clients, they represent over 40 women who made allegations of sexual harassment while working for the Washington football team, wanted only protection. They want to release the findings. The later stated, and I quote here, While many who came forward fear retaliation by Daniel Snyder and therefore requested that their names be kept confidential, they never envisioned that all their efforts and the efforts of Beth Wilkinson and her team would result in no written report or findings, and no real accountability for Daniel Snyder or the Washington football team. Had they known this, they would have not participated in all the findings. So basically what it sounds like to me is these 40 plus women want a little bit of limelight. That's kind of what it comes down to. And they want, more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, without being so, I guess, sexist, right? Air quotes there, very, very strong, air quotes. They want to sell their 10 minutes of fame to 60 Minutes 2020 and get their story heard. But Beth Wilkins also provided a verbal report to the NFL on her findings. So Beth Wilkins was the attorney or the investigator that was in there digging through all these emails and all these stuff and like whatnot. And like she said, there were 150 people interviewed during the investigation. The NFL fined Washington $10 million for a toxic workplace culture. Snyder said at the time that he would step aside from day-to-day operations of the franchise in favor of his wife, Tanya. So basically what it comes down to is John Gruden got thrown onto the bus. He got screwed 100%. He got bent over, butt ran with no lube, and then they didn't even buy him dinner. And the NFL and Roger Goodell didn't quite see the backlash that they wanted from John Gruden firing and like all that stuff. So they're kind of just like, you know what, let's just sweep the rest of the stuff under the rug. What is the real big deal? Let's just kind of hush, nothing ever happened. That's kind of what I'm taking from all of this 100%. And quite frankly, John Gruden did get railroaded, and like that's what Alpha Rob says. And I do agree to it to an extent. He shouldn't have said what he said, but also at the same time, probably other people should have been railroaded too. So it makes me really question what is in that report, or if there's anything, because usually Roger Goodell is kind of a stand-up guy, maybe per se, but at the same time, maybe it's so bad that the Washington football team probably shouldn't even be in the NFL anymore. But we digress on that a little bit. So guys, we are live, raw and uncut right here at youtube.com/man hour. There is a poll going on here on the Man Hour, and the poll is basically it is cut and dry. Who wins the Thursday night game, the Arizona Cardinals or the Green Bay Packers? So they will tell you how to vote there on the chat at youtube.com/man hour. So guys, be sure to hit that like button and share this with a couple friends as well, because we are doing a giveaway as well. So before we get into the Arizona Cardinals and how many games they will lose this season, which I think is going to be a lot, let me address this comment that Alpha Rob just came up with here. He says, but what he said is how men talk with each other. Me and my friends use those words all the time. Yeah, so there is a different there is a different way that you and me will talk, like if we're having a few beers, which I'm having a few brewskis tonight, loosen it up and having a great time. But there's also, we don't exchange those words during email either, because we know exactly what is going to happen. Let's say somehow, some way I get up to the level of Joe Rogan, right? Everything that I said from now until then, somehow it is going to be recorded, and people are going to come back and be like, hey, do you remember what at Man Hour Buck said, in 2021 on October 27th at 8:09 p.m. East Coast time? He said that Roger Goodell was a sexist. It just, and all the words will always get twisted. So there is a difference between doing it between emails and as like gathered around a campfire having drinks, because I feel like an email is more of a formal proposal, right? So when you write an email, first of all, you have to think about the words, you have to put them out, and then you read them, and then you usually proofread your email, and then you push send. So there's four opportunities for you to say, well, maybe I shouldn't say that. maybe this might come back and bite me in the butt. What if somebody else saw this email? I mean, granted, we don't think about that when we're chatting with our friends via email or Skype or anything to that effect, but subconsciously, there are 4 times that you have an opportunity to press the delete button or not send that opportunity. So as you can say, yes, John Gruden did get railroaded, which I do agree. At the same time, he knows better. John Gruden taught a class with Herm Edwards, social media etiquette to rookie players coming into the NFL. He knows how this system works. So do I feel bad? Yes. Do I feel bad? No. So yes and no, I feel bad, but at the same time, it is what it is. The Las Vegas Raiders seem to be doing just fine without John Gruden. And guess what? John Gruden still owns a stake in the company. He's still getting his $100 million or whatever he was owed, over the 10 years. And probably next year, I bet you he's back in the Monday Night NFL booth. Just putting it out there. But guys, let me go ahead and try out this new view here. Let me know if you guys can hear me or or not. But I need to stand up and stretch my legs a little bit, get a little bit of wonky here. Oh man, I don't know. We will work on the stand-up view. I'm not feeling it right now. I'm not feeling it. That's all me. Let me lower my chair. Down. There we go. All right, so like I said, guys, we do have NFL Power Rankings coming up tonight with Graham Wallace at Bus Wallace on the Twitter machine. If you're not following him, you should. You should also be following me as well. _Buck on Twitter. And of course, you can follow Man Hour at man_hour_radio, all on Twitter. We're active over there. Tori, Combs, and Wyatt are on there as well. Combs and Soup Boss, we will not have spilled soup tonight because Combs likes to tell Soup Boss false information about how we're not having a show tonight. They're just not doing a live reaction to tonight. So big shout out to those guys last night. They were live streamed for like 5 hours during the game. So huge shout out to them. But it is time to talk about the best team in the NFL, right? Or is it the worst team? Let me figure out some clickbait title to click here just so people can get pissed off, right? But we are going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. Currently, they are 7-0, and they play tomorrow night versus the Green Bay Packers. So many people want to put this 17-0 mark on the Arizona Cardinals. And guess what, guys? That's not going to happen. The Arizona Cardinals are a highly overrated team. Their run defense is not very good. Their defense as a whole has been playing good, right? But at the same time, they really haven't played too many players or too many good teams. Yes, they played the Titans at the time. Were not very good. Let's just be flat out honest. The Titans were not very good week 1. Now they are. So you cannot really chalk that game up to anyway. The Vikings, they're not a good team. They're a 3 to 4 win team tops this season. Jaguars are terrible. Yes, the Rams were clicking on all cylinders at the time. They were high flying, and you guys tell them to do 220 points. Congratulations. The 49ers, I believe that's when their injuries started to add up on them, but it's still a divisional game. You guys got that as well. But then you played a hurt Browns team, and the Texans just flat out suck. So you guys played 2 good games out of your last 7. So with that being said, I've been bombarded in the chats. I wasn't even on the show. It was Soup Boss and Combs, but you guys are attacking me like just because I put a title on there, you guys are like, oh, watch out. So guys, I'm telling you right now, the Arizona Cardinals are a highly overrated team. This is coming out of Buck Nasty's mouth at manhour_Buck. So at me on the Twitter machine if you want to do that. But I see at least 5 to 6 losses on the Arizona Cardinals moving forward. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look at their schedule moving forward. I actually have them losing tomorrow night. So we will preview that game moving up, but they will lose tomorrow night versus the Green Bay Packers. Then they travel to a Levi Stadium, which is the old Candlelight Stadium or Candlelit Stadium, whatever it is. I think they lose that game too. They lose 2 games in a row before they're getting back on track versus the Carolina Panthers. But then they travel to It's the Seattle Seahawks, the home of the 12th man. Russell Wilson is slated to be back that game. He's going to be clicking on all cylinders. He's going to be hyped. You guys are going to lose that game. Right there's 3 losses. Packers, 49ers, Seahawks right off the bat. Then you're going to lose to the Rams. That's a Monday night game. And it would not surprise me one bit if you guys drop to the Dallas Cowboys, the Colts, and the Lions moving forward. So the Lions are a sneaky good bad team, if that makes sense. They are the best 0-7 team I have ever seen in my life. Talking with Luke G last night on his weekly Tuesday segment, he got me kind of being a more of a believer back into the Lions after I put the hex on them. Yes, I can be swayed, but right now, guys, I see a minimum of 5 losses for the Arizona Cardinals moving forward, and that is just the way it is. You guys are highly overrated. Kyler Murray is playing at an MVP level right now, yes, but he will come back down to reality once the defense starting to come together. Once his butthole starts to pucker, once he has to play from behind a little bit, we will see what the true quarterback he really is. So let me address this comment here. Galfa Rob says, that's what I was saying. I'm not buying into the Cards defense. So Alpha Rob, you are correct. You are not buying into the Cards defense because they are good on paper. They have J.J. Watt. They have Chandler Jones. The list goes on and on and on and on. But with that being said, they are going to get exposed on Thursday night versus the Green Bay Packers. J.J. Watt is out. He is out with the shoulder injury. I don't know what the shoulder injury is, if it's a torn labrum like Baker, if it just popped out or if it just hurts. But either way, he is out for Thursday night. And, of course, the Green Bay Packers' whole receiver core is out as well. So what do you do when all your receiving core is out? You run the damn ball. What is the weakness of the Arizona Cardinals? The run defense. So we are going to see the Arizona Cardinals get exposed on Thursday with their crap run defense. Let me step back. Not crap. Just not great. They are probably still a top 14, 13 run-stopping defense in the NFL, but they are not very good run-stopping defense. Hell, the Kansas City Chiefs might be better than them. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally trolling right there, but the defense will get exposed 100%. So Rock, big shout out to Rock Boyd last night. He won some gifts over there during the Major League World Series live reaction show with Combs and Soup Boss. I think he won a autographed Nolan Ryan baseball. So big shout out to him. But he says Kyler Murray has too many weapons. Yes, Kyler Murray does have a lot of weapons. What they have, they have AJ Green. They have let me pull it up here. They have a plethora of wide receivers that they can go to, right? They have DeAndre Hopkins, which is questionable for Thursday. They have Rondell Moore, a Southern Indiana guy. You know, he actually went to New Albany High School. They have Zach Ertz now, Christian Kirk, AJ Green, Andy Isabella. I even forgot he was on there. Of course, they have Chase Edmonds and James Conner running the ball. They have tons of offensive weapons, but you guys know who else has tons of offensive weapons as well? The Kansas City Chiefs. You know why they're not performing right now? Because the defense has been exposed. The defense, people know how to beat the defense. And when you have to play from behind consistently, Chase Edmonds and James Conner no longer becomes that factor, right? Rondell Moore in the open field, a short intermediate passes round no longer becomes effective. You are going to be pushing the ball down the field to AJ Green and D-Hop, looking for those big chunky yards over and over and over. Then you start playing too high safety, just like what teams are doing against the Kansas City Chiefs, and you get exposed. That is, unfortunately, guys, when I say this, I'm going to get ridiculed 100% because I know it. I compared the Cardinals to the Steelers last year. Yes, the Steelers defense was definitely carrying that team, and the Cardinals defense is not carrying them. Kyler Murray is carrying them. But Kyler Murray always seems to find some type of injury during the season, whether it's a sprained ankle, it's a sore back, or whatever, right? I don't think he is going to finish the 17-game season just because of the way he plays. He plays at a very mobile quarterback-ish way. Yes, he runs the ball a lot. He takes a lot of big hits, but he also stays in the pocket too. But he always gets hurt somehow, some way. And when Kyler Murray misses that game or 2 games from a sprained ankle or a concussion or whatever he is going to get, because he is going to get an injury, that is when the Arizona Cardinals go down, down, down. So, guys, face it. They are going to get 5 to 6 losses the rest of this season. So, Rock, I see that you are voting in the poll here. Make sure you put !hashtag vote space and then the name there. So, I actually wanted to run a test to see if just like the hashtag vote and then would work. So let me put that in just to see if it worked. No, it did not. So you have to put ! hashtag vote and space and then a name. So I will turn it back to the old ways here in a little bit. Let me jump into the comments here before my man Graham Wallace jumps on the air with us tonight. Talk the NFL power rankings here. Alpha Rob says, where's the game being played at? It is being played at Lambeau West, which is classified as Arizona. So they will be playing in Glendale, Arizona, right at that field. I don't know the name of the field off the top of my head. Rock also says, I don't see the Green Bay Packers stopping them. I don't see the Green Bay Packers stopping them either, but I see them containing them. I see them putting in a lot of positions, and the Green Bay Packers are going to shorten the game. So this is how I think that the Green Bay Packers can win this game. Is yes, they're out Adams. Yes, they're out Lazard, and I think they're out another receiver as well. But they're for sure out 2 key components of the receiving core. Randall Cobb is going to probably end up being their number 1 guy. How the Packers can win this game is they're going to run the ball because the Cardinals' run defense is not great. They're going to shorten the game. We're looking at 15, 16, 17 plays a pop per series, and it would not surprise me if this is a 10-7, 17-10 type of score, because the game is going to be so compacted and so short because of everything that is happening with the COVID and the Packers. So when you guys say that you don't see the Packers stopping them, the Packers are only going to have to stop the Arizona Cardinals one time, because I don't see the Arizona Cardinals defense as a whole consistently stopping Aaron Rodgers. So let me take that back. They have to stop him twice. They have to stop him opening drive and then the last drive of the game, and the Green Bay Packers will win this game. So on hindsight, I do have the Packers winning. So I put hashtag vote Packers in the chat here, and I have the Packers winning 17-10 is the final score. Kyler Murray does not score a touchdown. The Arizona offense does not score a touchdown. They get a pick 6 and they take it back to the house. That's how they get their 7 points. I see people say defense wins championships because you never know what your offense is going to do week to week to week. And this is a game that the Arizona Cardinals offense just forgets to show up. I feel that they are overlooking the Green Bay Packers because everything what is happening to them right now with Adams out, Lazard out, and they also said Saint Pierre is going to be out as well. But guys, we do have Graham Wallace coming up here in about 3 minutes here on the Man Hour with his NFL Week 8 power rankings. We are going to take a quick little break. Let me cue up some music so the intro or the out is nice and smooth and transitional good. Hopefully you guys are having fun over here in the chat. I see Drew. What's going on, Drew? Drew won a lot of merchandise last night in the reaction show as well. Drew won a signed Alvarez bat. He won a Fitz jersey and something else. So big shout out to Combs and Soup Boss for doing the live reaction show for World Series Game 1 last night. They will be doing Game 3 through 7 moving forward tonight. Combs is sick again. So guys, sit back, relax, enjoy. We'll be right back here on the Man Hour. Is going to go out to all these, I use this term very, very loosely. Air quotes, let's go ahead and get that up. Air quotes, NFL experts, right? Many of these NFL experts say that all these NFL trades are going to happen. Michael Gallup to this team. He can help him do this, this, and this, and this. Guys, stop it. Stephen A. Smith, stop it. You are out of your mind, my man. Stephen A. Smith, you are the worst NFL analyst I've ever seen in my life. There's a reason why Max Kellerman left First Take, because you suck. You suck at life. You are terrible. But I digress on that. I don't want to attack you as a person, because I'm sure you're a great guy off of the air. You're just a dick boss and don't know shit about NFL, and you always dog the Cowboys because you're clickbait rating, right? I get it. Whatever. But stop with all this trade talk. Michael Gallup and Tua and Heineke and this person can help this person on this team. How many midseason trades do we see in the NFL? How many trades do we see in the NFL? Midseason trades. Very, very few, my friend. A few and far between, they say. Now, when you get cut by a team and another team picks you up, that is not a trade, my man. That is saying, hey, this person can help me. It's usually on the defensive side of the ball. Why? Because defense, you can play about 5 defenses. You can play cover 2, you can play cover 3, you can play man, you can play whatever, right? Offenses are totally different part of the game. You got the West Coast offense, you got the East Coast offense, you got the South Central offense, you got the Lamar Jackson offense, you got the RPO, you got interception offense that Jameis Winston runs, and then you have who knows what you want to call Patrick Mahomes' offense. There are 32 different offenses in the NFL. So when you talk about Michael Gallup, a wide receiver, because his contract is up at the end of the year, he could fit great in Baltimore because they need a number 1 receiver, and Michael Gallup's the number 1 receiver on every NFL team besides 3. Stop it. That's not going to happen. Mid-season offensive trades in the NFL do not happen. If they do, it is something like an offensive lineman. It is a backup quarterback. It is a quarterback that got cut, Jacob Easton, or released, I should say, and then picked up by a different team because they have an injury happening. You are not going to see a significant player on any NFL team get traded mid-season. So all you NFL experts, stop it. Stop it with all this mid-season trade talk. It's dumb. Tired of it. Is going to go out to all these. I use this term very, very loosely. Air quotes. Let's go ahead and get that up. Air quotes. NFL experts, right? Many of these NFL experts say that all these NFL trades. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeister here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the new merch that is dropping here. We do have the Beastie merch live, the hoodies, t-shirts, hats, all that good stuff. Of course, we have the original Man Hour logo and the new logo as well over there. And coming soon is going to be Beastie logo merch. So we're going to have the MH logo with the Beastie claw through it. It's going to look cool. I'm no graphic designer by any means, so Combs is doing that, and right now it looks like a 12-year-old did it. So we're trying to fine tune it a little bit. But as promised, every Wednesday we do have Mr. Wallace himself, Graham Wallace at Bus Wallace on the old Twitter machine, and his weekly NFL power ranking. So welcome Bus Wallace to the show on Twitter here. It is always nice to talk to you because you bring common sense to your power rankings, and sometimes things jump out at me and like, wow, that sucks, but then you're like, man, that's actually really good. But tell the people what you really do here with Belly Up Sports. Yeah, so with all that being said, I forgot to unmute you. So my bad on that. So if you want to redo the whole spill of what you just said, that would be fantastic. So people can hear you. So it's my bad, guys, for people in the chat. This is Graham Wallace, guys, with Belly Up Sports. He writes for the Blue Jays. So said what you just said. My bad, guys.
Yeah. So I started with the company in January. Shortly afterwards, I kind of inquired whether they had a Blue Jays baseball beat writer. They did not, which I was thrilled about. So it was really awesome to kind of cover this season, which unfortunately came up just short of the playoffs for the Jays, but it was a lot of fun. And, got to know some of my co-workers with Belly Up, appearing on different shows and things like that. So that's been really fun. I got into a bit of editing. Actually now also writing for Jay's Journal, which is really cool. And I've joined the Man Hour here on Wednesday nights, which has been really awesome. So a lot of different things going on. It might slow down a little bit as November approaches, but probably not much. I like to stay busy.
So what you don't know is we do have Project XX working over here on the Man Hour, and I have yet to told anybody what it is all about. But during our break, Graham, I will tell you what it is, and maybe we can bring you on a little bit more here on the Man Hour so we can talk some baseball too. But
cool.
If you guys have not known, we did a live reaction show with Soup Boss and Combs last night, and we gave away, Drew, correct me if I'm wrong, about 5 or 6 pieces of merch, and we'll be doing that again for the rest of the World Series Game 3 and Game On. So, Graham, be sure you join in on that merch. And basically, Combs is like, hey, who won 827 games as a pitcher? And the answer was Nolan Ryan, like, obviously, right? And bada bing, bada boom, Drew won a signed Nolan Ryan ball. So it's that easy. It's stupid easy. And it's a lot of fun. I gotta
get in on that. Yeah. Okay.
Definitely, man. But you are here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to talk about the NFL Power Rankings. Week 8 is upon us. It starts here in roughly 24 hours if you guys are listening to us live here at youtube.com/manhour. And what you guys don't know is Graham puts in a lot of work on this Power Rankings. He doesn't just do the top 10. He does all 32 NFL teams every week. And right now, guys, the biggest faller, which is rightfully so, comes in at number 18, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs are arguably they're the worst team in the NFL right now, hands down. The defense sucks. Fire Steve Spagnuolo. Give me a hashtag Spire Steve, like in the chat, guys. I want to get that trending. Fire Steve, Fire Steve, Fire Steve. So can the Kansas City Chiefs right the ship at all?
Oh, geez. It's a good question. I've been trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Mahomes is a great quarterback, and Andy Reid is a really good coach. And, they have all these offensive weapons. But I think they could probably figure it out. There's still, 10 games left in this new 17-game season. But they got to start like yesterday. And, I think defenses are starting to figure out their offense. I think they're double teaming Tyreek Hill, and they don't really have that weapon on the other side of the field. I know they have Travis Kelce, but I really thought Mecole Hardman would be a bigger factor in their receiving game. The run game, the defense has been atrocious, both the run and the pass. I don't know if they're the worst team in the NFL, but they might have the worst defense. So a lot of things to fix there. I don't know if they're going to figure it out. They might be able to win enough games to sneak into a wild card, but the AFC is really good right now. There's quite a few teams with at least 5 wins, or with 5 wins, I should say. So it's a steep road for them to travel, and they got to start playing. They got to start playing a lot better.
And as the wise man once said, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. And right now, the Chiefs have to play 100% every game for the next 10 weeks here in the NFL season, hands down, because otherwise, see you later, alligator, and they'll say after a while, crocodile.
Got it.
But, if you guys want the full list, follow us on Twitter, man_hour_radio, and we will release the whole list tomorrow. I got caught up with work today and working with Project XX. But coming in at number 10, you do have the number 1 team in the AFC West, and that's not the Kansas City Chiefs, that's not the Chargers, and that's definitely not the Denver Broncos, because they're complete trash hold right now, too. That's the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Really? The Raiders? The Raiders.
The Raiders. The Raiders. Yeah.
The Raiders.
They're 2-0 now under new interim coach Rich Bisaccia. I'm really I kind of like saying his name. He's got a cool sounding name. It seems like there's a better kind of vibe with the team. Just kind of talking to you now, I'm kind of blanking who they just beat on Sunday. But
Ooh.
I know
what? I'm
they
blanking
won their
too,
second
man.
game in a row, and they did it in Eagles. They beat the Eagles, so not necessarily a fearsome opponent. But that's what you want to do. You want to beat the brakes off the teams that aren't good. Eagles aren't good right now. It took them a while to get there into the second half. That game was still competitive, but we talked about the Raiders, how they always seem to fall apart, say after week 9 or so.
Yep.
They're 5-2. I believe they were 6-2 last year. They ended up finishing 8-8. So they just need to have a decent kind of second half of their season, and they should be able to be in the playoffs. They might even be able to win that division. I believe they're tied right now at 5-2 with the Chargers, and they also have a head-to-head loss against the Chargers. So they've got it all in front of them. They've just got to finish strong.
Yeah, they also do play the Chargers again to end the year, and the Chiefs twice still, and they play the Broncos as well. So this division is still really up for grabs, but only time will tell. But speaking of getting the brakes beat off of them, I should say, the Baltimore Ravens took that ass whooping on Sunday from the Cincinnati Bengals, which you had the Cincinnati Bengals, spoiler alert, in the top 10. So the Ravens do come in at 9. So are the Ravens still worthy of a top 10 pick after getting beat 41-17 on Sunday?
It's a good question, and I think you could, maybe put that out there and maybe have them a couple of spots lower, perhaps. This was the most surprising result, I think, of the day on Sunday. It was a pretty close game into the third quarter. Jamar Chase went crazy at that spinorama long touchdown there. Joe Burrow, is looking fantastic, like a franchise savior. Over 400 yards passing, I should say. He threw a bit of a gnarly interception in the end zone, but he was able to come back from that. And the defense is really showing a pass rush. They have already more sacks than they did last year. They look like they're a legitimate team to beware of in the AFC, and I definitely didn't see that coming. I still thought they would be better, but still be the worst team in that division, and they're looking like they could maybe be the best team. So great job by them.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and bring this up real quick. Alpha Rob says the Ravens are one of the most overrated teams in the league. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, They went to Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh's not a very good team right now, but they beat them. I believe it was 24-10. They sacked Ben Roethlisberger several times. And then, like we just said, they just beat Baltimore by 24. And let's remember some of the teams that Baltimore has defeated. They just coming off a 28-point victory against the Chargers. They also they lost to the Raiders, but they beat the Chiefs early in the season when we still thought the Chiefs were a formidable team.
Right.
So I think the Ravens own some pretty impressive victories this season. Obviously, they almost lost to Detroit, which is a bit of a black mark against them. But, Tucker came up with that, 100-yard field goal over how long it was, 66-yard field goal that hit the bottom of the uprights and back in. Right. I don't know if I'd call them overrated. Let's be honest. Some people, they only won 5 games all of last season. So I don't know if I'd call them overrated.
Well, he's talking about the Ravens. The Ravens won 13 games last year, right? He says the Ravens are overrated.
Ravens are overrated. They could be. I mean, Lamar Jackson has had some great moments this season, and he's also had some pretty shaky ones. I'm thinking of the Monday night game against the Colts. He somehow led them back to a victory in that game, but he had a really awful interception. He missed a touchdown pass earlier, and he also had a really bad fumble in that game. Their defense looks really good at times, and other times it's not really there. Sometimes their passing attack with Hollywood Brown, Rashad Bateman, and the like is looking really good, and sometimes it's lacking. So I would say they're inconsistent. I still have faith in this team as a top 10 kind of team, but they got to continue showing it week after week because they haven't shown the consistency, certainly.
Yeah, I mean they mean, you definitely have faith in them losing a first round playoff game like their MO is every year. But let me refer to some of these comments here. Rock says the Ravens are playing with practice squad players. Rock, are you a Baltimore Ravens fan or are you a Lamar Jackson fan? Because you sound like a Lamar Jackson fan right now. That's exactly what Lamar Jackson fans say. Oh, he's the greatest quarterback ever, but when they lose, he doesn't have any weapons. He's playing with practice squad players, yada, yada, yada. The last time I checked, practice squad players on an NFL team are still NFL players, right? So
next man up, yeah.
He still has NFL players around him. Just face it. The Baltimore Ravens shit the bed on Sunday. They gave up 4 sacks versus the Cincinnati Bengals that didn't even show a pass rush the previous 6 weeks. And then I think they had 4 total sacks in 6 games, and they had four sacks on Sunday. But give the credit due. The Ravens are still mediocre at best, and top 10, no, but they will make the playoffs somehow, some way, right? So coming in at number 9, let's see who you got coming. Or sorry, number 9 was the Ravens. Number 8, you have the Buffalo Bills. Your Buffalo Bills, I might add. So there's no favoritism here. Why do you got the Bills so low?
Well, I mean, I had them at 8 last week after that tough loss in Tennessee. So I kind of kept them where they were. I don't really like to move teams too much on their bye week. I think I try to keep that unless there's a bunch of teams around them that are losing or winning. Sometimes they might drop or fall, or rise a little bit. I really like this team still. Have they played a lot of good teams? No, they haven't. Did they kind of, shit their pants against the Titans? Yeah, they kind of did. And that was a bit of a questionable 4th down gamble there by Sean McDermott and the coaching staff. Josh Allen wasn't able to find steady footing on the QB sneak, and they had no chance. Simmons blew up Dawkins on the block and came crashing through the line. So I think Sean McDermott is trying to build a culture where he trusts his players and he wants to put the ball in his playmakers' hands. 9 times out of 10, they probably get that first down and go on to win the ball game. But they didn't this time. They're still 5-2. They've had a solid almost first half of this season. They're playing the Dolphins, who they've owned over the last couple of years. I think this is a good get right game after kind of being able to rest up over the last week or so.
And didn't they beat them like 40-0 like 2 weeks ago, or something like that? Or it was.
I'm trying to remember. I think they beat Houston 40-0, and then it was like 35-0. I think they beat Miami. So they've already pitched a couple of shutouts, and I think I pulled this out the week after, but it was like their biggest win over Miami since 1966, and they've been playing each other, those two teams, for over 56 years or whatever. So
that's absolutely mind-blowing right there. So let's flash back to that Titan game a little bit here. Would you have called that quarterback snake there, or would have you took the points and went into overtime?
Gosh, that's a tough one, Buck. All I could say is when they were going for it, I was watching like this because I just had a bad feeling about it. However, and I know you're going to say I'm waffling, they were not stopping the Titans, at all that evening. Derrick Henry was running all over them. Ryan Tannehill actually had a pretty good game as well. He's looked better over the last couple of weeks. So I think I probably would have done it. I think I would have tried something a bit more sneaky than a straight ahead sneak, especially, like I said, Simmons coming off that line, he just blasted Dawkins and they had no chance. I think a little bit of trickeration, a bit of misdirection, maybe some kind of QB option might have been a good play there. Josh Allen is a big, strong guy. He get those inches when he needs them. So a bit of a disappointing play call, disappointing result, but I still think they have potentially a great season ahead of them.
Yeah, so you are saying go for the win. Soup Boss, myself, and Combs all said take the points. So, you definitely are not waffling like on that whatsoever. Wyatt would have definitely gave a waffle answer. So just to review our top 10 so far, you had 10, you had the Raiders. 9, you had the Baltimore Ravens. 8, you had the Buffalo Bills. And at number 7, a very surprising number 7, you do have the Cincinnati Bengals after that beatdown of the Ravens. Why?
Yeah. Well, I just feel like this team is kind of ready ready for the world, if you will, bringing it back to some old R&B type of vibes there. Joe Burrow has this team really feeling confident. He has a magical connection with Jamar Chase, and he just seems like the quarterback this franchise has never had. Sure, they had some good quarterbacks, Ken Anderson, Boomer Esiason, things like that. Andy Dalton was a solid quarterback for them for the better part of a decade. He got to the playoffs 3 times, but I feel like Burrow has unlocked some new features with this team. They have a very good receiving core led by Jamar Chase. I think it's really interesting. People just killed this team for not taking an offensive lineman with their first pick. They took Chase. A lot of people thought he had bust written all over him. He might be the best receiver in the NFL right now. 754 receiving yards through his first 7 games. That's the most in NFL history. So that's really incredible. The defense has looked a lot better. They got Joe Mixon in the backfield there. So I think there's a lot of different components to this team that is clicking at the right time. Also, their head coach, I can't think of his name right now, but they've stuck with him. This is his 3rd season now. And, sometimes that's really good to give it. I think he's only won 7 games over his first couple of years. He's already almost at that total this year. So I think that continuity has really helped this team, and they're playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Yeah, and then on the flip side of that, though, the Bengals did stick with Marvin Lewis for many, many years at mediocrity at best. So I mean, it was definitely kind of their MO to give their coach a chance to prove himself. So
Zach Taylor. Sorry, I just thought of it.
Yeah, Zach Taylor. So yeah. I did hear a crazy stat on Sunday Night Sportscast. Zach Taylor played with the punter for the Baltimore in college at Nebraska. So that shows you how long that punter has been in the league and how young Zach Taylor is. So just some food for thought. So you did have the Bengals coming in at number 7. Number 6, you have possibly a team that maybe we've slept on a little bit the first 6 weeks of the season, but the Tennessee Titans do come in at number 6.
Yeah, they've really made gains over the last couple of weeks when you think about beating the Bills like we talked a little bit about on that Monday night a couple of weeks ago, and then just smashing the Chiefs 27-3. They really were all over Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the Chiefs offense in this game. Also, Kelsey looked demonstrably frustrated throughout the course of this game. Only 3 points allowed. I think that the defense is really starting to show some force with the pass rush. They've got an excellent cornerback or safety, I should say, Kevin Byard as well. I just think they're playing again with a lot of confidence. They're taking on the personality of their coach Mike Vrabel, just a tough as nails kind of guy, and I like what I've seen out of Ryan Tannehill over the last few weeks. I just think this is about as underrated a quarterback as there is in the NFL, really. If you think about since he took over the reins from Marcus Mariota in 2019, he had one of the better passing seasons by a quarterback in several years that year. He led the league in yards per attempt and quarterback rating. So this is a guy who could throw a good deep ball. He's sneaky athletic, and I just think he fits really well into this team. You're also starting to see them mix up their running game. They have this guy Darrington Evans, who could give King Henry a break once in a while. So I like what I've seen from this team. Some people might not like me having them as high as I do have them, but I think what they've done over the last couple of weeks has really impressed me.
Well, then people can hate on you all you like all you want, but they dominated the Kansas City Chiefs. It's still a very, very good Chiefs team. They beat a top 10 team in the Buffalo Bills, and they are performing at a high level right now. They are just not relying on the running game at all. I mean, heck, Ryan Tannehill threw for 240 some yards versus the Chiefs, right? I mean, so it definitely wasn't a one-sided game whatsoever. So just to review the bottom half of the top 10 here, you have the Raiders coming at 10, Ravens at 9, the Buffalo Bills at 8, Cincinnati Bengals at 7, the Tennessee Titans coming at number 6, and coming in at number 5, you do have the future Super Bowl championship of the 2022 season, the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, sir, I said it. The Dallas Cowboys coming in at number 5.
You know what, Buck? It could happen. Cowboys, like the Buffalo Bills, were idle this week. They were a bit of a lucky, I don't want to call them lucky losers, lucky team that didn't play. A lot of the teams around them lost. I should say the Ravens lost, who I think I had as high as number 3 last week. So they slipped down. Cowboys ended up moving into that top 5 spot. We've seen this from the opening game of the NFL season when they almost took out the Tampa Bay Bucks. Dak Prescott, pinpoint accuracy, a two-headed monster at running back with Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, the tight ends, Dalton Schultz, kind of blanking on the other guy, but they've been pretty productive as well. And the thing that I really like about this team is the defense is really showing up. Randy Gregory, Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons. So they've got playmakers at all 3 levels. I think the sky's the limit for this team. I'm right there with you, Buck. I don't know if they're going to win the Super Bowl because they're not super experienced in the playoffs, but that doesn't always matter. Sometimes the team just gets hot. They don't really know enough to be nervous, and they just keep winning games. So I could definitely see that with this team. Also, Mike McCarthy seems a lot more confident in his second season. I know he's the head coach. I don't know how much credit you give to the coach or not.
Right.
But he just seems more confident in his play calling. I know Kellen Moore is really involved in that as well. He's probably going to find himself on an NFL sideline with his own team pretty soon, I think. But I like the swagger I've seen in this team. That's the way the Cowboys are supposed to play, with that swag, America's team, and they're finally back. It's good to see, even though I'm not a Cowboys guy.
Yeah, I mean, like, every time the Cowboys do well, things are good in the NFL because you sell more tickets, you sell more merchandise. The NFL's on TV more because of the Dallas Cowboys name. Now, Mike McCarthy is being successful because of Kellen Moore's calling great offensive plays right here. But on the flip side, they're not throwing the ball 60-plus times in a game and running Zeke for like 10 times. They're like a 60-40 team right now, and that is a big factor of their success. And if they can keep that moving forward, they will definitely win a lot of games, including beating the Arizona Cardinals, which I think are overrated. But coming in at number 4, you do have the LA Rams. The Rams struggled a little bit against the Lions for the better part of the game, but they are 6-1 on the season with the 3-game winning streak. They travel to Houston this week. So why do you got them where you have them at number 4?
I just think Rams have had a really solid season. They obviously had the one game that they lost, but they beat the Buccaneers. That was a really weird game against the Detroit Lions this Sunday. Lions had a couple of fake punts. They had an onside kick. They were trying like hell to win this game, Buck. I thought it was going to happen halfway through the third quarter, honestly. Lions are 0-7, but they play hard. A lot of people have been critical of Dan Campbell, and I get it. He hasn't won a game yet with the Lions. And he had that really weird press conference about eating people's kneecaps and biting their I forget what he said, but it was really weird.
Yeah.
Former NFL tight end. He actually had a stint as an intern head coach with the Miami Dolphins. Anyways, Detroit Lions will win a game at some point this season, and they haven't given up on him. And you kind of love to see that if you're a fan of this team. They're a team that in the region I'm in, their games are often on Fox in the region I'm in. So I actually will watch quite a few Detroit Lions football games, which is kind of brutal. But they're trying hard for their coach. Jared Goff is just getting hung out to dry out there. It kind of reminds me, so I don't want to spend too much time on this, but his first year, I think, at Cal, they were like 1-11. They sucked. They ended up getting it together in his next couple of years, but I think he's tougher than people give him credit for. He kind of has this blonde beach California surfer dude kind of image, but
right.
I think he's tougher than people give him credit for. He's not Matt Stafford. Rams won that trade, but Lions will win a game eventually. Book it.
Yeah. They will at least win 2 to 3 games this season.
Okay.
Like we were talking with like Luke G last night on his weekly Tuesday segment here. He is a Detroit Lions guy. And like he's like, well, if they would have done this, this, and this, they could be 5-2 or something like that. And then I'm like, well, if I would have picked 52 instead of 42, like on my lottery ticket, I wouldn't be doing the man hour, right? But no,
yeah, right.
But I'm totally
funny.
kidding. But coming in at number 3, we do have the Green Bay Packers, which they do play Thursday night here versus the Arizona Cardinals. First things first, who do you got winning that game on Thursday?
I got the Cardinals. I'm sorry, but
That's fine.
I just think the Packers are a little too shorthanded. But I think it's going to be a really good game. Is this the best Thursday night game like ever?
Hands down. Hands down.
Right?
Well, hang on. On paper, on hindsight, it's the best game ever.
Yeah,
But with that being said, yes, it is. It is better than the Houston Jaguar London game, right, or whatever it was.
Oh my gosh. That just seemed like a big fu to the country of London. Oh, here you go, Jaguars and Falcons, or whatever it was, Dolphins and Falcons. They got some terrible games across the pond there. Sorry, mates. But yeah, I still think the Packers are they're having a strong season. I just think they're up against it right now with some of the injuries they have on both sides of the ball. The Smith brothers, Zadarius and Preston, are out. J.R. Alexander. I'm more concerned about the injuries on the defensive side, actually. Obviously, Devontae Adams, he very well could be the best receiver in football. I threw out Jamar Chase, but it's probably Devontae Adams. Him being out, he's just got that great chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. I still think they'll have some success moving the football. I think they're going to have a tough time punching it in at some of the key times, because who's he going to be throwing it to? Equanimous St. Brown. Oh, he's on. Is he still on the team? I don't even know who their other receivers are.
He's on COVID too. They have
okay.
67-year-old Randall Cobb.
Yeah. Oh, Cobb. Right. Okay.
And then they got some practice squad.
Yeah.
So I am trying to lay out the excuses for the Green Bay Packers now. They're bringing up some practice squad receivers to fill those spots. So so Aaron Rodgers will have an out like Lamar Jackson does. No, I'm totally kidding. But Packers are at 3, and then coming in at number 2, you do have the former Super Bowl champions themselves, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah,
they're not the best team in the NFL.
I mean, you could definitely make that case. They've just been, steamrolling teams lately. Chicago Bears was their most recent victim. It almost seems like the Bears weren't even in that game ever. It was just all about Tom Brady and his, 600 touchdown passes,
right.
And that kid who got the glove and the tears and the football. That was a nice moment, and it showed Tom Brady in kind of a lighter mode. He's also known as this fierce competitor and guy who kind of stomps on guys' throats and stuff like that. I'm not saying he's not that, but it was kind of cool for him to have that moment with the child who survived so much. So that was kind of cool. This team's firing in all cylinders. They're still not 100% healthy. I definitely could have had them in that top spot, but I just think the Cardinals being 7-0, well.
Spoiler alert.
Maybe they're top. Who knows? It'd be kind of crazy if I didn't have them in my top 10. But I'll let you kind of segue into that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have to have the undefeated team at the number 1 spot, even though they're the most overrated team in the NFL. No, yeah, they are. The Arizona Cardinals do come in at number 1.
Yeah,
they are 7-0. They are clicking on all cylinders. But J.J. Watt will be out on Thursday. Do you think this will hinder their game at all on Thursday, including the power ranking status for it coming up in week 9?
Yeah, not necessarily, because from the games I've seen the Cardinals play, it's JJ is he's wreaking havoc, but it's also Golden. Sorry, Marcus Golden. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was going to say Golden Tate. I'm like, wait a second, he's a receiver. Chandler Jones, and they've got a couple other guys coming off the edge there that are really making some plays for this team. They've also got Buda Baker in the secondary there, and Isaiah Simmons kind of in the middle. So I think they've got some good guys throughout the defense. Obviously, you're a better team when JJ Watt is suiting up. But I think they'll be able to supplement that with some of the other guys they have in that rotation. And I think it's Bill Parcells who said, you are what your record says you are.
Yeah.
And 7-0 is a very impressive start. They have a chance to go 8-0, which used to be the kind of halfway point. We're in this weird 17-game season, which I'm still kind of getting used to.
I hate it.
Yeah, I read this kind of cool article, Sports Illustrated article, about saying it was an ode to the 500 season, how they never really get celebrated. We just remember the great teams and the terrible teams.
Right.
But there's been some really kind of fun 500 teams, and now it's not a thing unless you go 8-1, which might never happen. Well, it might happen one day, but
Give it
ties
to
are
the
pretty
Browns
rare.
and they'll figure it out.
Yeah, sure. There's always a few ties here and there, or not always, but there's a few ties sometimes, and it's always people hate them. So
They seem to be happening more lately. So let
Yeah.
me ask you that. Let me ask you that question because you're a baseball guy and you're a hockey guy. Obviously, there are no ties in those sports. Why in the hell is there a tie in the NFL? And how would you fix this rule? Like, do you want to do like a college overtime, or how would you fix the overtime rule?
So I'm going to throw it back to you. I didn't watch any of this. I haven't been watching a lot of college football at all this season, but I saw Illinois beat Penn State 20-18 on Saturday in a game that was like 9 overtimes.
Yeah.
Is that right? So
Longest game ever. I do believe
that's insane. I think if it's some kind of hybrid between college and the Canadian Football League, where you have a team start at, say, the 30-yard line, and they have the ball and they try to score a touchdown.
Yep.
And I think making them go for 2, I may say after the second touchdown, is a good thing. That way both teams get to possess the ball. There's no touchdown and the game's over. I mean, the walk-off touchdowns are kind of exciting and they're cool and all, but I think that would be a better solution, and it might avoid more of these ties that no one likes.
Yeah, if the one possession thing wasn't a rule, the Kansas City Chiefs might be back-to-back Super Bowl champions right now. But we digress on that. So, like the college overtime rule is just like the CFL overtime rule. So I would just like to see the NFL adapt it. Yes, I'm telling you guys, do away with the 10-minute quarter. Put the ball on the 25. You got four plays to score, and it's a head-to-head fight to the death. 15 overtimes, I would love it. I would love it better than 10-minute overtime any day of the week. NFL overtime sucks. Ties suck. The NFL pro game's the only sport ever that ends in a freaking tie. Absolutely stupid. Are you lost for words there, Graham?
Well, I missed a lot of the second kind of part of what you said there, but I'm just going to kind of pick it up. I definitely do think that needs a bit of tweaking. And one thing we know about the NFL is they're willing to change some of their rules. They're not like baseball where they just, should we change this rule? Nah, we won't. Basketball is pretty flexible, it seems like. Hockey, a little bit, but I find football is the most progressive sport when it comes to, should we change a rule? Yeah, let's do it. They have the competition committee and all that, and they have to vote on things still. But I think some kind of pivot in that direction would be good for the game, good for the league. Obviously, we don't want guys playing games that are crazy long. It's going to break down their bodies, which I think the 17-game season, that's the main issue I had with it, is because if you talk about player safety and then you're having them play another say 80 snaps in a season, do you really care about player safety, or do you just care about money?
They care about the Johnny Manziel money, dollar bill show. We actually did a stat last year. By adding this one extra game, the NFL made $527 million more off of TV deals, merchandise, tickets, etc. by just adding that one game. So take that into perspective. So it would not surprise me if it's a 20-game season by 2028. Let's just be honest.
20. Well, I definitely think we're headed towards an 18 game. I think the way it is now, it's going to be set in stone for about 10 years or something, the way the CBA works. But I definitely think the owners aren't going to stop on this thing. And the thing is, the majority of the NFL players aren't Aaron Rodgers, aren't Patrick Mahomes, who are making, say $30 million a year.
Yep.
They're the guys who are making, say, $2 to $5 million a year. So they actually really,
darn it.
Sorry, you know what I mean? They're making the league minimum,
playing.
or they're making, say, up to $5 million. So they really need that money, and they don't want a labor stoppage. They don't want any bullshit. So they're just going to vote yes on it and hope it passes. I think it was like a 51% margin or something that it passed by.
Yeah.
So I definitely think the owners are going to come knocking again for an 18-game season. I don't know if we'll get up to 20, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, 18 games would make sense because right now half the teams have more home games than the other half, and then like, do you flip that like the next year? Like I feel like there's always going to be like a couple teams lagging by the extra game, by the extra revenue and like all that stuff. But nonetheless, guys, 17-game season is right now. That is the NFL power rankings for us for week 8 moving forward. Graham, as always, thank you for joining us. Tell the people where they can find your articles that you write about the Blue Jays.
Yeah, so bellyupsports.com. Most of my stuff will be under the MLB tab if it's not on the front page there. Also look out for my stuff on Jays Journal. I've got Blue Jays all-time 25-man roster. I did the first part with the rotation. I'm coming out with the lineup now. I'm going to do bullpen, bench, and all that. So really excited about that. And the offseason is going to be rolling along as soon as we know it. So I'm going to be having coverage throughout the offseason for that as well. And I'm here every Wednesday. So get at me on Twitter, at Bus Wallace, Instagram, same thing, lowercase. Holla at your boy.
Yeah, so just to toot your own horn hit a little bit here, people are saying that this baseball guy knows his stuff. So, and then cool power rankings, and thank you. I have subscribed, and I really love your stuff. So, getting some positive feedback there, man. Definitely appreciate it.
That's great. That's great to hear, Buck. And just want to say it's been really great being on the power rankings with you. When Wyatt and Combs or Tori show up as well, that's cool too. It's good to chop it up with those guys too. So this has been something really fun for me to jump on when baseball's kind of winding down. So thank you.
Well, let's just be honest. I am the best host here on the Man Hour, so it is what it is. All right, guys, we are up against that time of night. Guys, thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow here on the Man Hour. Same time, same place. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Pick you guys up some merch. Drop a like. Hit the share button. And be sure to hit that bell icon when you subscribe to us on youtube.com/manhour, as we do upload clips 3 hours a day, 24 hours a day, 7 days